It's a good thing I took all those communication courses in college. I would never have been able to see this. I'll go ahead and read it all out to you so people can really understand what's going on here. One of the blog posts I have is, How Did Solar Systems Form? It says here, I wrote, the sun adopted the smaller objects as it moved through the galaxy with their pre-existing satellites. That was easy. Why would I ask a question that is easy to answer? Well, because that is not the question people are really asking. They're asking the question, how do the objects inside of the solar system form? Well, they're all stages to a single star's evolution. Some are more evolved than others. Some are even broken up parts to ancient stars, which give the appearance of being worlds themselves, such as asteroids and small moons. They all have timelines mutually exclusive of each other, and the fact that they are in their current arrangement is just a random event. It's random. To drive the point home, there are two main philosophies which I think people are unaware of. The first philosophy is the solar system is a single object. The second philosophy, number 2, is the solar system is a bunch of objects all mixed together randomly. They are systems inside of systems. Which do you think is the sound philosophy? I have here in a question. And here's the main point of this talk. What really happens is that all this boils down to basic communication problems and language barriers. When a scientist says in their mind, solar system or system, they think one or singular or all resting on the sun alone. And that's where their mind goes. That means any explanation of the singular system will need a singular process. So they think in one singular mentality. So when they look at how it all formed, they look at one singular process that all has to form at once with one idea, with one theory. But if they think multiple objects, they will lean more towards explaining what the objects are doing, absent any notion of them being parts to a larger process. They are not parts to a larger process. The orbits are not processes which form them, and that's the only thing that relates them. That's the only thing that relates them is the fact that they're orbiting each other. If you take the orbits away, what do you have? Well, you have singular stars in different stages to their evolution. They're not related at all. They were all adopted by the sun and were evolving just fine on their own in the past, and they will orbit other stars in the future when the sun loses them. What this all boils down to, and the bigger point in all this, is that many of the problems in astronomy and astrophysics, they're rooted in language barriers. It's literally how we talk about the problems which causes the mystery. And this is only one of the issues I have with them. Another one of the main problems where language completely destroys all rational thought concerning the evolution of these objects is that astronomers and astrophysicists, they look at all elements that are heavier than helium and hydrogen as being metals. That's popular inside of their in-groups, is to classify all elements that are heavier than hydrogen and helium as metals. Oxygen is a metal, nitrogen is a metal, fluorine is a metal, neon is a metal. When you have that kind of mentality inside of astrophysics, inside of that huge language problem, then you tend to ignore reality. You tend to just brush reality aside, and then you can invent all these random ideas that just don't make any sense at all, such as the nebular hypothesis. It's why the nebular hypothesis page doesn't have anything written on it concerning chemical reactions, or how minerals are formed to form the rocks before they even clump together to begin with. There's nothing mentioned about that at all. And that's because of the way they talk about these problems. They don't even look at elements that are heavier than helium and hydrogen. They say, oh, they're just metals. You can't explain the formation of the Earth if you don't have chemical reactions being involved. And you sure as hell can't explain it if you're using language the wrong way. Language is a very powerful tool we have to convey meaning to each other. And when you subtract the meaning from the words you're saying before you even try to convey the theory, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're making things harder on yourself. That's why a lot of mysteries these days are still mysteries, is because we have been abstracting the meaning out of a lot of the things that we talk about, and then we're left clueless, which, is also a part of the compartmentalization issue, where geologists think that they're a separate study other than astrophysics. It's not. Geology is the study of an ancient star. It's the Earth. So, yeah, you have all these problems because of the language barriers of how we talk about these issues. So, to overview that again, the solar systems are not singular. They're systems, all a bunch of different objects inside of it. So to say they're singular is to not really refer to the solar system, because there are solar systems inside of the solar systems, which are probably inside of solar systems around the universe. So yeah, there's that. Today is July 29th, 2015. Hopefully this can help people to understand why astrophysics is so clueless. Later.